In today's video, we'll go over Kali Linux versus Parrot Security OS.
You know, for anyone in the cybersecurity world, this really is the main event. We've got two Debian-based powerhouses, both absolutely packed with security tools, but they come at it from completely different angles. They've got different philosophies, different performance, and they feel totally different to use day to day. So the big question is, which one actually deserves a spot in your toolkit? Let's break it all down.
All right, let's get right to it, the tale of the tape. Now, while these two contenders might share a common ancestor, you'll see they have evolved into very different fighters in the security arena. First up, we have Kali Linux. This one is maintained and funded by Offensive Security. Yep, the same folks behind the legendary OSCP certification. Kali is the direct descendant of the old Backtrack distribution, and it is built for one thing: pure offensive security. It's like a digital Swiss Army knife, packed with something like 600 tools for everything from vulnerability analysis to reverse engineering. It's the standard, the one you'll see in pretty much every tutorial, professional lab, and cert exam out there.
And in the other corner, we have Parrot Security OS. Now, Parrot was also inspired by Backtrack, but it's a community-driven project that takes a slightly different path. It isn't just a pen testing toolkit, it's designed to be a complete secure workstation. It really puts a huge emphasis on privacy with built-in tools like Anonymous and Tor, and it even includes a full suite of development tools. On top of all that, it's engineered to be incredibly lightweight.
So let's kick things off with that first impression, the user experience. You know, how do they feel right out of the box? And maybe more importantly, which one could you actually live in day to day?
You know, this table right here really gets to the heart of their core philosophies. Kali defaults to XFC. Think of it like a clean, no-nonsense workshop where every tool is perfectly placed for maximum efficiency. Its command line uses ZSH, which is kind of like a souped-up engine with all these powerful shortcuts for the pros. Parrot, on the other hand, uses the Mate desktop, which feels much more like a polished modern office. It's just more intuitive for a lot of people. And it sticks with the traditional bash shell, which is that reliable standard pretty much every Linux user already knows and loves.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. Could you use one of these as your main computer? The folks behind Parrot OS say absolutely. It comes bundled with Office apps, media players, and even IDEs for coding, making it a super versatile machine. But Kali's developers, they explicitly advise against it. Kali is a specialized toolkit. It is not a general-purpose OS. And frankly, running some of its more powerful tools can lead to system instability, which is exactly why you so often see it run in a virtual machine or from a live USB stick.
All right, now for the main event, the tools. What kind of firepower does each of these distributions actually bring to the fight?
So let's be super clear about this. Both of these are incredibly capable. Since they're both built on Debian, pretty much any tool that's available on one can be installed on the other. They share this massive common library of the most important security tools in the industry. So whether you pick Kali or Parrot, you're going to have the essentials like the Metasploit framework for exploitation, Nmap for network scanning, and Burp Suite for web app analysis, all at your fingertips.
But this is where Parrot really plays its unique cards. Right out of the box, you get tools that show its focus goes way beyond just pen testing. You get AnonSurf to route all your system traffic through Tor for anonymity, ZuluCrypt for powerful encryption, and OnionShare for sharing files securely. It also packs in a full development stack and even some super specialized tools for automotive security like the Kayak toolkit. This just makes it an incredibly well-rounded platform for any security-conscious user.
Okay, time to look under the hood, into the engine room. How much horsepower do these systems actually need, and what does that mean for your real-world performance? Yeah, the tale of the tape here is pretty stark. While they can both technically run on a 1 GHz dual-core CPU, the other requirements tell the real story. Kali needs a bare minimum of 2 gigs of RAM and 20 gigs of disk space. Parrot, on the other hand, can get by with as little as 320 megs of RAM, and it only needs 16 gigs of space. Parrot also doesn't require graphical acceleration, which makes it the clear winner for any older hardware you might have lying around. And this chart just drives the point home, doesn't it? Kali's 2 GB minimum RAM requirement is 4 times higher than Parrot's. This is the single biggest reason why Parrot has this reputation as such a lightweight OS. If you're thinking about running your pen testing environment on an older laptop, a Raspberry Pi, or maybe a low-resource virtual machine, Parrot is literally built from the ground up to shine in those exact conditions.
So what does this all mean in practice? Well, it means Parrot generally feels snappier, more responsive, especially on hardware that might really struggle to run Kali. Its developers have put a huge priority on performance and stability, using that lightweight Mate desktop and its own tested repository for updates.
And this often results in a smoother, more reliable experience, which, let's be honest, is absolutely critical when you're in the middle of a complex security assessment.
You know, an operating system is more than just its code. It's also about the community and the resources that surround it. When you run into trouble or you need to learn a new tool, who's in your corner?
This quote from a user on Reddit just perfectly captures the reality of the learning landscape. When you're just starting out or you're trying to wrap your head around a new technique, the availability of tutorials and documentation is everything. And this is where Kali has a massive, massive advantage. As the industry standard, it has a huge global community. You'll find countless tutorials, YouTube videos, books, and official courses from offensive security, all using Kali. That just makes troubleshooting and learning so much easier. Now, Parrot has an active and really passionate community, but it's smaller. So while its setup can feel more user-friendly, you might have to dig a little deeper to find Parrot-specific guides.
All right, we've been through 4 tough rounds, comparing user experience, tools, performance, and support. So, who wins the showdown? Let's get to the final verdict.
The decision really comes down to your specific needs, your context. You should probably lean towards Kali if you're a professional pen tester, if you're aiming for certifications like the OSCP, or if you really rely on following online tutorials. Its alignment with the industry makes it the default choice for corporate and educational settings. However, you should definitely choose Parrot OS if you're working with older or less powerful hardware, if privacy and anonymity are your absolute top priorities, or if you just want one single operating system that can handle both your security work and your daily tasks, like coding and writing reports.
Ultimately, this isn't a simple case of one being better than the other. It's really about a difference in purpose. Think of it this way. Kali Linux is a precision weapon, finely honed for one job, offensive security. It's the scalpel. Parrot OS is more like a Leatherman multi-tool. It's got the blade you need for pen testing for sure, but it's also got the screwdriver, the pliers, and everything else you need for a whole range of tasks all in one convenient package.
So, after weighing all the evidence, the choice is yours. You've seen the tale of the tape. Which champion are you adding to your corner? The answer to that question is going to define your entire digital arsenal.